A very warm welcome, everyone. Welcome to this webinar, Getting Successfully Started with Fronius. How much have you been in contact with Fronius so far? If the answer is a little bit, or probably not so far, then this is the perfect webinar for you. The idea is that I give you in the next half an hour an overview about the Fronius product portfolio so that you know the most important solutions that Fronius is offering. My name is Max, and I have the honor to guide you through this webinar today. And as always, I'm not alone. Behind the camera, there's my colleague Michael. And if you have questions, please feel free to ask them at any time. You can use the chat function, and Michael will answer them while I'm speaking. Also, after the webinar, we will stay a couple more minutes online. And if any questions remain, then you can ask them afterwards as well. What is the idea of today? Basically, we are talking about three things. First of all, I will give you an overview about the basic components of Fronius that you need for a PV system. So namely, this is the inverter and the smart meter. So those are the parts that each and every PV system needs. Secondly, we will talk about sector coupling. So we will go a bit deeper. We will talk about all the other solutions that make your system more effectively. So this is the Ohm pilot for warming solutions, the Watt pilot, our charging solutions for electric vehicles, and also battery solutions. And last but not least, I want to give you some arguments that you also can bring towards your customers. Why Fronius? Obviously, Fronius is a premium brand and is more expensive than some of our competitors, but this has good reasons, and we are delivering more quality and more sustainability, also some other aspects. I will go into them in the third part of this webinar. But first, we start with the basic components. As I said, we start with the inverters. And we can, first of all, we can divide between two kinds of inverters, the standard version and the plus version. Plus always refers to a hybrid inverter. So with hybrid inverters, you can use batteries. If there is no plus, then the battery solution is not possible. I leave the commercial inverters in this webinar aside, and we just talk about the residential ones. And if we talk about residential, then there are two kinds of inverters that Fronius is offering. On the one hand, this is the Gen 24, and on the other hand, the Verto. Let's start with the Gen 24. You see there is a smaller version and a larger version. The smaller version goes in power classes of 3 to 5 kilowatt, and the larger version 6 to 12 kilowatt. Both come with two MPP trackers, and onto these MPP trackers you can connect either one string each in the smaller version, and in the larger version, two strings, the one MPP tracker, one string at another. Our portfolio then closes with the Verto. So again, there is a small version and a larger version. The small version starts at 15 kilowatt and goes until a power class of 25. And the large version starts at 27 kilowatt and goes to 33. The smaller one has 3 MPP trackers, the large one 4 MPP trackers. And again, you can either connect two strings or one string to the MPP trackers. If we're talking about the large Verto, then you can see that for each MPP tracker, you can connect up to two strings. So also difficult orientations or many difficult or many different orientations. This was what I wanted to say. You can realize with the large Verto. Nowadays, at least in Austria, hybrid versions are very popular. Almost every new system is a hybrid system, obviously because the batteries are becoming cheaper and cheaper, and hence economically it just makes sense to install a hybrid system. And as I said, for hybrid system there is the signal word plus, there is the Gen 24 plus and the Verto plus. Both come in the same power classes. Most important, maybe the Verto starts at 15 kilowatt and goes up to 33, and the Gen 24 is in the same power classes as before. So with Fronius, you have hybrid inverters starting at 3 kilowatt all the way up until 33. MPP trackers are very similar. The Gen with 2 MPP trackers, Verto Plus comes with 3. And maybe let's just shortly talk about the backup options you have with the Gen 24. Each Gen 24, either if it's plus or not, doesn't matter. Each is equipped with or is ready for PV point. PV point is a one-phase power socket that can be connected to the inverter and that is delivering energy in case of a blackout. If you're taking the large 24 or any of the Vertos, then you can realize full backup. Full backup requires a battery and means that you have full three-phase emergency power in case of a power loss. And together with the inverter, you need a smart meter. A smart meter is a bidirectional meter that mostly sits at the feeding point and measures how much energy is coming from the grid and how much energy is going into the grid. You need to use a Fronius smart meter in a Fronius system, and we have various kinds of smart meters. So see on the left side, there is the TS65A. This is the three-phase smart meter that is at the entrance point and that is used most commonly. The small one, the one-phase smart meter, is the TS100A. And then there is a large smart meter that is coming with current transducers so for large cable diameters, you can use those transformers. The TS uses transformers of type CTA. As you can see, there's also an IP smart meter. The IP smart meter is a special version that can be connected cableless to the inverter, and this IP smart meter uses transformers of the type CTV. So this is one important thing you need to have in mind. There are two of them, either CTA and CTV, and you need to use the correct one for each smart meter. So those are the basic components, and then let's go to sector coupling, as I said. So what other solutions does Fronius offer that make sense in a PV system? First of all, I want to talk about the Fronius Ohm Pilot. The Ohm Pilot is our heating solution, and maybe this picture says more than many words. The Ohm Pilot, the natural habitat of the Ohm Pilot is in a technical room next to the water boiler. What does the Ohm Pilot do? So it's a power regulator that is connected to an ohmic load. And ohmic loads, they have the characteristic that they can be charged with electric power in continuously. So whatever surplus comes from the roof, the inverter gives this information to the Ohm Pilot, and the Ohm Pilot then is that exact whatever surplus is coming from the roof, it is transferring to those ohmic loads. And mostly this ohmic load heating rods that are connected into the water boiler. So then people can use the surplus, whatever there is, for heating up the water. Other possibilities are electric underfloor mats or wall heatings, infrared panels. So also room heating can be realized with the Ohm Pilot, but mostly, as I said, it is used for connecting it to heating rods and to heating up water. The Ohm Pilot has most advantages in systems where the primary heating source is fossil fueled, so it's a natural gas heating or oil heating, and so then the Ohm Pilot can do water heating all summer long, and the primary heating is doesn't need to be stressed. You see here, this is a screenshot of Solar.web of a PV system of a colleague of mine. He has a natural gas heating and has installed an Ohm Pilot. You see all the months from in 2019, starting in January, going all the way up February, March, whole year until December. And you see this is the production of his PV system and where this production went. Yellow means the production was directly consumed in the household. The gray color means the production was transferred into the grid. And red is the color of the own pilot. And it means that this is the amount of power that the own pilot used for generating water. And you can see that his Eigenverbrauch, it is called in German, so his self-sufficiency was raised by the own pilot by 44%. So quite a lot. So by 44 percentage points. So 44% more of his own energy he was able to use just through the own pilot. I don't know what it is like in your countries. In Austria, feeding in is sometimes not possible at all, and in almost every case, you almost get no compensation for it. So it doesn't make sense to feed in and to use as much energy as possible that is coming from your production. And with the own pilot, this is perfectly done. Very similar to the own pilot, it works the watt pilot. Again, the idea is to use surplus energy for good sense. And this time, not water is heated up, but the electric vehicle is charged. Our watt pilot portfolio looks the following. So there's the watt pilot Go that comes in two versions, either in 11 kilowatt or 22 kilowatt and with a Type 2 socket. Then there's the Watt Pilot Flex, our new Watt Pilot product, came out just a couple of weeks ago. There's the Watt Pilot Flex Home, also coming in 11 and 22 kilowatt, and then the Watt Pilot Flex Pro that will come in Q3. This one has an MID counter on it, so this is the solution for maybe some companies for, as I said, some commercial solutions. What is the difference between the Watt Pilot Go and the Watt Pilot Home? The Watt Pilot Go, as the name says, is to go. So you can take it away. And for example, if you're charging your car at, let's say, a friend's house, and then you can use this wall box to go also at your friend's house. The Home is fixed installed at your house or whatever place. And but the Watt Pilot Flex has some other advantages. Maybe I don't want to go through all of them, but maybe to name the most important ones. So first of all, the Watt Pilot Go, the old Watt Pilot could only be connected by Modbus TCP, by Wi-Fi, so it can only connect to the inverter without cable. This led to some problems. You can imagine in some garages, internet connection is not the best. With the Watt Pilot Flex, you can connect the Watt Pilot also by LAN cable to the inverter, so it gives a more stable connection. And then you see the obvious thing, it just looks fresher, better design. It's an end customer product that is at a place that probably the customer sees every day. With our inverters, it is different. In a technical room, you don't look at it every day. But next to your car, the wall box also has to fulfill some design standards. With both either the Watt Pilot Go or the Watt Pilot Flex, you have the same charging modes. First of all, you can charge with flexible tariffs. You can enter some thresholds at which the Watt Pilot should start charging. You see here an example. Let's say you say, as soon as prices become negative, please charge my car. And in that case, you see here, negative prices are between 1 in the morning and 5 in the morning. And here automatically the Watt Pilot would charge the vehicle. And then there is the Eco mode. Eco mode means just charging when there is surplus. And the next trip mode, this is maybe the most important mode, and let's say an add-on on the Eco mode. It just charges with surplus, but you enter a certain mileage at a certain time, and that is reached whatever the surplus is. I give you an example. You say, okay, I need in 6 in the morning, I need to go to work, 50 kilometers, or let's say 25 kilometers one way, so it's 50 kilometers in total. I need at least 50 kilometers in my car at 6 in the morning. Then the Watt Pilot is taking the surplus over the day, And if it is not enough, then it will charge your car with electricity from the grid, so that reaches at least those 50 kilometers or the corresponding kilowatt hours. You see here on the slide, violet is the color of the watt pilot, and here you can see here it is charging overnight, over the day with surplus. Obviously it is not enough, and then it is charging at night. And thirdly, and probably most importantly, we come to storage solutions. So this is perhaps one of the biggest disadvantages of PV energy, that consumption and production is at different times, and you get most out of your PV system when usually there is least consumption. You can help yourself with batteries, and thank goodness we have some storage solutions on offer, and especially I will show you our own battery, so the Fronius Reserva battery. So before we go into the Reserva, there are two options. You either take the Fronius Reserva, as I said, or you have some alternatives. You can still take the batteries that have been compatible with us so far. This is the BYD, HVM, and HVS, and also the LG Flex. So still all those systems are possible. We certainly recommend our own battery. It's also for best use for you. Service and support with our battery is all done at Fronius, so you have just one number to call if there is anything you need. And besides that, the Reserva is a very good battery. It offers some other advantages. Let me show you them now. So the Reserva, as you see, is in that case very similar to the BYD that probably some of you already know. You have some modules that you stack on each other tower-wise, and depending on how much modules you use, the capacity is varying, and also the charging and discharging rate. You can build up a tower between 2 and 5 modules, and then they have a capacity starting at 6.3 and going up to 15.76 kilowatt hours. The modules are just stacked, screws are tightened, and that's it. So there's no cabling that you might know from the LG Flex. Oh, I see. Sorry, there some German entered my slide. Doesn't matter. You can, I guess, you can assume what I wanted to say. So Gewicht im Modul means the weight of one module is 33 kilograms. So easy to install, or easy to install, at least possible doing it with one person. And this is the temperature area, the temperature window where our Reserva is working. And this is a very broad window. It goes from -20 degrees up to +55. So yes, you can also install the Reserva outside. However, recommendation is to install it at a warmer place. Everything below 5 degrees plus Celsius, charging and discharging rate will decrease, and battery is not working perfectly. So we recommend to install it in garage, technical room, can also be living space. The battery doesn't get warm, and it also doesn't make noise. It is an LFP cell chemistry, so this is state of the art, and also the same that is used with the BYD, for example. You can connect up to 4 towers in parallel, and this gives you a maximum capacity of maximum 63 kilowatt hours. Also important, no combiner box is necessary. You just connect the towers or the management units by DC cable, and that's it. And if we're talking about charging and discharging power, this also sometimes is a criteria, especially when it comes to emergency power. And also here we have very good stats. You see, let me use the laser pointer. So you see here the different sizes of the Fronius Reserva. This is with 2 modules, 6.3 kilowatt hours, and on the bottom it's 50.8 kilowatt hours. The smallest one has a charging and discharging power together with the Gen 24 of maximum 4.5 kilowatt, and the largest one of maximum 11.2 kilowatt. So this is a very important difference to the BYD. You remember BYD has this HVS and HVM modules, and if you are going in this area around 10 kilowatt hours, then you can either go for a very large HVS tower that you cannot extend in the future, or a very small HVM tower that has only little charging and discharging power. Here the reservoir hits a sweet spot. We have, if you, let's say there is a 10 to 12 kilowatt peak PV generator, then probably the 15.8 kilowatt hour battery is the perfect size. And here you have charging discharging power of maximum 11.2 kilowatt. So a good amount and more than enough for daily use, and also in emergency power. You can use a lot of different loads. If you're using the Verto Plus, then even charging discharging power is even a bit higher. We got 6.5 kilowatt with the smallest reservoir, 6.3, and it goes up to 16.3 kilowatt charging discharging power with the largest reservoir. And I said it in the beginning, with the reservoir, and if you are using a large Gen 24 or a Verto, and with any kind of the batteries, full backup is possible. So this is single phase and three-phase production, supply of the total household. The only thing you need is an automatic or manual switch, so some kind of separation of the household grid from public grid. And also, Fronius has some own solutions. There is the backup switch and the backup controller. The backup switch is a manual switch, so then the customer has to go to the AC panel wherever the switch is installed and has to turn the switch. The automatic controller is doing it automatically, so it's automatically switching from normal operation to backup mode. Both of the systems, they come either as a 3-pole or a 4-pole version, so it's of your choice. Very small and compact. You can install them both directly on the DIN rail, and it doesn't require a lot of space. The backup switch is available in 1 and 3-phase version, the controller only 3-phase. And also one important distinction, the current the switch can carry goes up to 63 amps, backup controller a little bit less, 35 amps. So for, I would say, the standard household, the backup controller is totally fine. If you're going for larger systems, maybe some commercial systems, better use the backup switch. And I can tell we're working here on further solutions and also on further versions of the backup controller. All of the system with all the on pilot, watt pilot, battery, production consumption, all this is displayed in Solar.web. This is our monitoring tool. Solar.web is basically for free for customers who want to go further, who want to have more details. Then we are offering the premium version. This costs 24 euros per year. And the premium versions has some special features to offer. And one feature I want to, that is especially relevant, that is brand new, and I want to show you particularly, is the energy cost assistant. This is our intelligent battery management tool if people are using a flexible tariff. So, as I said, energy cost assistant goes with Solar.web Premium. So if end customers have premium, then this is automatically integrated. What is the energy cost assistant and how does it work? Basically, it includes 4 parameters in its actions. This is first of all the forecast of the production, secondly the forecast of consumption, then it requires a flexible electricity tariff, and it also is including the battery state of charge. So it is an intelligent system. It's looking at past behavior and past patterns, whatever it is, consumption or production, and is then reflecting it on later stages. So what will production and consumption probably look like in the future? And based on that data, basically the ACA is having 2 actions. First of all, it can limit the discharge of the battery. It can also block it completely. So this happens when the energy cost assistant says, okay, now price of the flexible tariff is very cheap. let's say it is at night. In the morning, I expect some high consumption and no production. So better now blocking the battery. We are using the cheap energy of the grid for the night consumption. And then we have the battery available in the morning when there is this peak of consumption and high prices. And secondly, this can go so far that the energy cost assistant is even charging the battery when the tariff is favorable. So it realizes it's now absolutely cheap and later on super high prices. So better now charging the battery so that it is full later on when we need the energy. I show you an example so it gets more clearer. You see here a screenshot of, again, Solar.web. So every customer sees the same data. You see on the bottom, this is the electricity price. So we have one peak here in the morning, low prices at noon, and another peak in the evening. And above you see production and consumption. Gray is the consumption, yellow the production, green state of charge of the battery. And here on the left top, you see the commands that the ECA is giving. And what did he do on this day here? So between midnight and 4 in the morning, battery was blocked because the ECA realized now prices are cheap. Better we keep charge of the battery so that we have it here available in the morning when prices are expected to be high. This sign here, lim, this always means the charge of the battery, the discharge of the battery is reduced. So it is discharging, but at a slower rate it could do. This is a very simple example. I show you a more complicated one. Again, here you see the prices. You see here a large peak in the morning, a large peak in the evening, and above you see in gray consumption, yellow the production. You see the commands here on top, and as you can see, this on this day the energy cost had a hard day, a lot of work. It blocked the energy here in the morning. It even charged the battery between 3 and 5 in the morning because it realized prices are now cheap and prices will go up substantially in the morning. It again blocked the battery here, and then it let the battery free for using it in the morning when this high energy price peak occurred. And same happened over noon, so this game was repeated. Battery was blocked and battery discharge was then released here in the evening when prices were really high. What are the requirements for the energy cost assistant? As I said, Solar.web Premium, you need to enter flexible tariff, activate weather and yield forecast, it's done in 5 minutes, and in some cases an update of the software might be necessary. There are also how-to videos for if you haven't done that or if you have questions to that regarding the ECA, regarding activating weather and yield forecast, and also regarding the manual battery control. You all find that on our YouTube channel. I will show you at the very end of this webinar. So far, so good. That were the most important products you should know in the world of Fronius. Now let's go, as I said, this is the last point. Let's go to why Fronius. So Fronius, a premium brand, what does it give you, or what does it give your customers? And I want to give you some arguments. Yeah, you can also use if customers of you are asking you. So first of all, we are pioneers in the solar industry. We are here since 1992. This was when our solar branch started. You could say we are as old as the PV industry, more or less. Our first inverter entered the market in 1995, and since then we have developed substantially. And two things that we are taking out of it: we have a lot of experience, and on the other hand, we are a long-term partner. So we are here since 30 years, and we won't go away quickly. In other companies and maybe bigger companies, the PV industry or the PV branch is just, yeah, it's just one, as I said, one branch out of many, and the idea could come across that people are leaving the industry, the companies are leaving the industry, doing something else. We are here to stay. Sector coupling out of one hand. This is what I showed you in this webinar. It's not just the inverter. A modern PV system depends on also many other devices, because only if you can use your own energy wisely, then the PV system is running effectively. And for that, we have an ohm pilot, we have a watt pilot, there is a battery. The whole ecosystem of Fronius gives you a lot of opportunities. One thing I didn't talk about in this webinar, but what is also a good point, is energy management. You can do a lot of load management just with our inverter. You don't need another different program that is activating your loads. You can all do that on the inverter. We are doing durable products. As I said, our first inverter came out in 1995. This here is an example of Vorarlberg. Vorarlberg is a federal state in Austria, and here a company installed our Fronius Sunrise in 1999, so 26 years ago. And those inverters are still running. And if they are not running, if a service case happens, then they still can contact us, and we will service them. So I think this case speaks for itself. It speaks for the quality we are doing, and also of the good service that we are delivering. And those durable products, this doesn't come occasionally or randomly. We are building that on purpose. We are testing our products beyond norm. I just here have some examples that we are doing. We are doing some mechanical load tests. We are crashing the inverters from certain heights, and we try to make them as robust as possible. We're doing salt spray tests. Not a thing in Austria because we are not at the sea, not at the coast, but in Australia, for example, very important to guarantee that the inverters are also running in salty air. We're doing infrared tests. We are detecting hotspots before delivery, and if hotspots are detected, then those products are already sorted out and not even sent to our customers. We're doing shipping tests, we're doing freezing tests, other reliability tests, where we test the inverters in harsh conditions. We try to make them artificially older. And so we're doing a lot just to see if the inverter will run smoothly then out on the field. And also part of quality is sustainability. Sustainability is one thing that is very important to Fronius. We do a lot to fulfill our own requirements we have on ourselves. 100% green electricity on our sites. If you have ever been to our production site, you will see that there are a lot of modules all over our factory, all over the offices. We are doing our own energy as much as possible, and the energy we do not get from our production, we're receiving green electricity from the grid. Everything is made in Europe. We have the production site in Satlet, that's in Austria, and the other production sites are just next to it. And the only one that is not in Austria located is the one in Krumlov in Czech Republic. It's also just, let's say, 60 kilometers away from the other sites. So all very close and centered in Europe. 90% recyclable packaging, no air freight in Europe. So everything is delivered by truck and by train. And we're trying to improve further and further. And what we also do is a life cycle analysis. So with exact, not we are doing this analysis, the Fraunhofer Institute is doing it. That's a German institute, and that is looking at our products and is confirming the CO2 emissions that we are emitting in production and also when it is running. And it is very important to know how much CO2 do we emit, in what steps of our process, and only then you can tackle those processes and improve them. And many other companies, they don't even look at the data, and if they are having not any data, they can't do serious steps towards sustainability. We are doing that, and I just want to show you some rough numbers. The life cycle analysis goes much deeper, but this is too much for the moment. But just a few numbers. So the environmental benefits exceed the costs by a factor of 5 to 5.3 to 26 times. So if the question is, does it really pay off to have an inverter compared to some other energy production? Yes, it does, definitely. If you're asking 5.3 to 26, this is a large gap. How does that come? It just depends on what electricity we are replacing. In places where electricity is coming from coal or from other fossil fuels, then the impact of our inverters is very high compared to Austria, for example, where electricity is already rather green, then the impact is less. And hence the amortization period of the climate impact is in the range of 0.8 to 3.7 years. So very soon, climate-wise, our products have amortized. Probably most important for our installers, we are always here for you. We are often praised for our support, and not without reason. We have competent telephone support in all time zones worldwide. Only trained technicians are on the hotline, and you can call us at any time. And one thing that is maybe overlooked sometimes, there is a lot of know-how on demand, exactly the kind of webinars and trainings that I and my colleagues in my team are doing. They are ready for you on YouTube, so you can build yourself, you can educate yourself to a very large extent. There are a lot of explanation videos, and we experience that those installers that come to us often they already have a lot of knowledge. It's just some final questions they want to clear. Coming to us is certainly also possible. We are offering trainings here in Austria every now and then, around once a quarter. We are offering an international trainings week. If you're interested, then we are happy to welcome you here. And last but not least, data protection is important to us, or important to Fronius. We have stored we have stored the data here in servers in Austria and in Europe, so not somewhere far away in Asia. And also we have separated customer data and system data. So if a cyber attack happens, then it's more difficult to get to all of the data. All right, we come to an end of this webinar. I just mentioned it. If you are interested in further information, please visit our YouTube channel. You find the QR code here. Also, please visit our website, our homepage. There you can register for further trainings, for webinars, and trainings, also online trainings, and also face-to-face trainings. I hope this webinar was interesting for you. It gave you a good overview of all of our products. If you have any further questions, as I said in the beginning, we stay online for a couple more minutes. Michael and myself, we will answer your questions as good as we can. I wish you a wonderful weekend. And okay, already it's Thursday, right? But weekend is close. A lot of success with our products, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.